All right, we're going to try this again. Thought I was going to put it under a category, but can't categorize it. So yeah, we got this Infiniti for $400. My son's going to get his permit in the future here. So I thought, you know what? It's in really good shape. It does have some moisture in it though. So I wonder if the carpet, if the roof or the sunroof might be leaking. Not leaking, but the drain plugged, so on and so forth. I don't know. We have to make sure the engine's not locked up. So I'll pop the hood here and take a look. It's got some nice exhaust on it. Hey, Rhodey, how are you? Good morning. Hope you're having a good day. Crystal Kitten, good to see ya. Hope you're well. We're gonna take a look and see what's going on. When we put power to it at the junkyard, some smoke emitted from the alternator area, which is a very common failure on these. I actually just did one a couple weeks ago. And it's also common for the VVEL to fail and cause engine failure. So we'll see what happens here. Rhodey says hi to Crystal. Hope everybody's having a good day. We're gonna put a wrench socket on this crank. But in order to do that, we need to, hey Taylor, hope you're doing good. Hope you're having a good day. We need to remove the coolant reservoir, which is just 2 10s. And that'll give us really good access to the crankshaft bolt. Then we can put a big socket and wrench or whatever ratchet dealio on there and see if the engine turns over. If the engine turns over, then we're going to look at the alternator. But if the engine does not turn over at all, I'm probably just going to push it outside and we'll get it back in the shop when we get a motor. And fortunately, motors are fairly available and cheap due to accidents and I don't know, reasons that they end up in the junkyard with good motors. And just slide that off of there. This usually does not need a hose clamp on it like that. A little springy dingy thingy works good, but excuse me. They, for whatever reason, put this on there. So pry that off. There we go. Is there even coolant in it? Oh yeah. It's got the Nissan blue. Ooh, blue. All right, that's out of the way. Taylor says hi to Rhodey, Crystal, and Carrie. Me, hi. Having a good day so far. Good. Hope everyone is having a good day as well. It's doing all right. We got 12 people watching. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now we're going to look. I need to get better lighting. But down in there is our, right there, you can barely see the crankshaft pulley harmonic balancer deal. Probably a 19, 17, 21. Sorry about the movement there. We're going to work on that. And let's just, I'm going to guess a 17. We'll see if I'm right. 18, 17, here we go. Tight, but I think we'll be able to. Come on. It's a 19. Or 21. Let's go with a 19. I'm not gonna lie, something just doesn't. I don't know, maybe the harmonic. It's probably fine. The O2 sensor wires are hanging down, and I could see they were chewed from rodents. Good night, Frankie is in the house. Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're having a good day. We just bought this puppy from the junkyard for $400. And it's really a pretty clean car. The underneath is fairly rust-free. And I worked for Infiniti for many, many years. I can actually prove it. Well, I guess I could have had these made, but I'll better hide my name. Not that anybody cares, but that was 07. I worked with them until 13. So times brown chicken live marathon today. Yes. Yes. Frank, you've been doing some kick-ass streams lately, really putting in the time, and it shows. Yeah, been good listening to a lot of the Night Frankie streams lately. Taylor, if you're into MMA, which, well, duh, I know you are, kind of an untapped market for based chicks. I'll just say that. Good seeing you in here, Frankie. Always a pleasure, man. Riding on roadie, yeah, right? Can you try those boots on? Yeah, we had some. Remember that fruit cake? That was hilarious. I was being genuine. I kind of knew instantly, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe they do care, like what kind of riding boots I wear. What is it about the feet people, man? Funny stuff. Oh, sorry about that. We're ahead of a gimbal, but the gimbal doesn't work in vertical. And my computer is now in another room in front of the, it's not in this part of the shop. Okay, perfect. It is a 19. So now we're going to put a breaker bar on it and see if it rotates in a, let's see, clockwise, but any direction would be good. Good seeing everyone in here today. We have verticals are so weird with the viewership. Sometimes it goes from like 10 to 70 to 3. The bouncing around is insane. At the junkyard one time, I swear it showed like 119 at one point, which is ridiculously. Oh, that moved. Let's see if I'm going to put a ratchet on it. There's enough room to get a ratchet in there. And, well, I guess if the motor turns over super easy, that's not a good sign either. But we should encounter some compression resistance throughout the rotation of the cycles. Okay. I really want to bring y'all in there and show you. Let's see if I can get, oh, it's right here. Boom, boom. Found this at the dump. 2 of them, actually. And the power supplies were bad. That's it. So I think it got hit by lightning or something. Brown Chicken says, I got a water pump to put in my Mustang, then front pads. Very cool. That'll be easy-ish. I mean, 07, so probably the 5.0. Yours too, mine does something similar. 1 second it's 70, then 23, then 0, 4 usually, then it smooths out, right? Hey, Moto Alley, hope you're doing well today. Infiniti is a glorified Nissan, the fancy Nissan. And I was grateful enough to work for Infiniti from like 02 to 14, so like the best 12 years ever. To 13, sorry. This car was actually the last car I went to factory training on. So, but amazing bulletproof drivetrains up until 2014-ish. Then they started using turbos and cats failing and just insanity. So this is a really good bulletproof car. All-wheel drive. The differentials are like out of a freaking path. It's basic. I don't like to use the GTR terms because there's nothing about it that's a GTR, but these motors are really durable. I just don't like the VVEL, the variable valve event lift timing, which is silly. Like, come on, we can play with ignition curves, we can advance and retard cam timing, we can do all that, but now they're playing with the lift of the cam, so it can change the lobe duration. Basically, you can put a bigger cam in it as the engine's running, and it's not necessarily the most, if you don't do your oil changes. So we're down here. Let's see, there's our ratchet. And honestly, the alternator sounds like sand, but the motor, is almost 1 full rotation. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a really good sign. So I wonder if their alternator took a crap. They got a, you know, an $1,800 estimate at the dealership, because that's about what it would be, I'm guessing. And, you know, a local shop would probably want $1,200 to do an alternator. I'll do it for $3 cash. But I've just done so many of them. They still suck no matter what. But we're going to just see if I can't remove. Well, I know if I remove this little assembly here, we'll have pretty good access to the top of the alternator. Then we can at least look at it and see if it's, I don't know, melted or I know it's going to stink. But I can't remember if I can access the terminals from up above or down below. And if I got to do it from down below, I'll put it on the hoist here. But not today, because I got an engine to do in that Dodge Ram. So, no, totally different than an Altima. Nothing at all. Totally different car, different platform. 100% Japanese built, this car is. Altimas are made in Arkansas. Just a totally different platform. The Altimas might be all-wheel drive, but they're not all-wheel drive like this. This literally has like a massive transmission, a massive transfer case, rear ends, front end that you could never, I've never seen one fail ever. I've never seen any drivetrain unit fail on these ever. I've only done like 2 motors, and that was from abuse and neglect. So these are like the OG old school best of the best of the last. In size, interior space, it's about the same as an Altima. They don't have a ton of, they're very tight, compact, leather heated seats, cooled seats too, I believe. You know, it's the Infiniti, so it's a Lexus of Toyota, or an attempt. I wouldn't put it anywhere near Toyota quality category, but it's definitely up there as far as reliability, durability, and I don't know about resale ability because I don't look at cars or sell them or buy them, so it very well may be, Liam. The Chrysler, though, Chrysler is in such another category of garbage that you can no CVT. God, no, I would never buy anything with a CVT. This has an actual 7-speed real transmission with, you know, clutches, valve body, and again, bulletproof. Like, yeah, I don't think I've ever done one at the dealership. Bulletproof. We're looking at it. Infiniti and Beyond look like. Brown Chicken says, what's the $400 Infiniti and Beyond look like? Here it is. We're looking at it. I just rotated the motor, so the motor is not locked up. And like I said, we looked at it's got some moisture on the inside, so I don't know if they said it sat for a while, and if the sunroof drains may be plugged, or any pluggage in the dams could have allowed some moisture to get inside. We'll pull the seats, we'll pull the carpet. Really easy car to pull the seats and carpet on. Yes, if you have a CVT, just do the fluid changes every 30 or whatever the interval says from the manufacturer, and I've heard people have good luck with them. I agree, Buck. Thank you. Liam says the K&N sticker, that's your problem. It's got like a $2,800 squid exhaust on it. I looked it up. It's a really fancy, not to me, but to the connoisseurs of this stuff. I'm a fan of stock exhaust pretty much on things. Motorcycles, you know, Buck Brown's in here, so he's going to have an opinion on that. But, you know, hey, whatever you want to do on your bike is cool. But cars, like, I don't want to listen to that resonance on the highway and the drone. And like, I just be quiet. Let me hear my stereo. Yes, leather. All Infinitis are going to have that upper tier of leather. It needs to be cleaned big time, but it's full of like vape pens and deodorant, and there's probably some punk kid, but the seats are in good shape. There's no tear. Well, I guess there's a little tear right here on this one. But the dash isn't cracked. It's got 160,000 miles. Yep, the K&N sticker does have filters, so they're not just flexing. They're sporting. I had probably a little construction helmet there. Maybe got I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions, so we'll find out once we get it up on the hoist and drain the fluids and see. We'll do a full fluid deal once it's running, but we need to get to that alternator quick, so that's what we're going to do. Change my pipe for performance reasons, not to hear it being loud. Exactly. I agree. This is a 2013, I believe. Eight of 12. So yes, it is a 2013 model year, and it's full J starting with the VIN, so Japanese built. It was cool when they come over from Japan. There was always a sticker on the window that said the parts source, and it would say like 99% or 95% of parts content is 100% Japanese. And then when that Fukushima, the radiation meltdown thing happened, our parts guy said that he had a few people ask when they would get parts if they were contaminated. And my parts guy was like, well, I'd have no way to test that, but I doubt it. Probably came from a warehouse here in the States. But it was all made there, so really good quality. Is this a no insurance total either? I've got a free and clear title. That's always nice to talk to Mom Taylor. Very nice interiors. I had a Q45, a 2003 Q45. It had a 4.5 V8. There was only like 1,100 of them made that year and brought into the US, and I sold it for nothing. And it'd probably be worth a lot of money to the right person, but whatever. Cars are cars. Moto, yes, we are in the rust belt. Buying an older car like that up here, we'd be lucky if the underbody isn't rusted. Exactly. No, the underneath of this one's pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but most cars after 10 years here are just junk. Yes, it is, Liam. I bought it for my son, I guess, because he's constantly talking about these. I have a couple of customers with them, and I gave him a ride to school in it the other day, and then I went to the junkyard, and this was in the junkyard the day I took him to school in one, so it was kind of like meant to be. Looking back at some comments here. They didn't tell me what was wrong with it. They just said they got it. It had been sitting for years. So I put power to it, and some smoke emitted from right here. And the number one, at 140 to 180,000 miles, your alternator will fail. It's just probably a timed out whatever. I've done so many of them in the last couple of years, but they're not horrible. But so anyway, smoke emitted from that area when I put power to it. So we shut the power off right away. And I'm like, well, the alternator is bad, which is common. And that's very possible why they parked it, because they're so expensive to do at the dealer. And if you don't have a shop, and then it sat for a couple of years, and who knows what happened to the owner. I don't know. I didn't ask, but they just, somebody said to come and get it. So they came and got it. They paid whatever for it, and I paid them what I paid them for it. So knowing it could need a motor, it could need everything. But I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna need an alternator and a battery, which I have a battery. We'll probably, do some testing, hoist it, look at the wires, make sure squirrels didn't eat anything alive, and that's not the cause of our smokage. But I'm gonna pop this air filter off right there, and we'll get that box out of the way and see what we can see down in there. Thanks, Brown Chicken. When stuff ships through custom, it don't just go through an X-ray machine, it goes through a yes, and same with the scrapyard. When I take metal to our local scrapyard, they have a radiation detector as well. Oh, Cheddarhead is cool. He's from the MMA community. I've been friends. Cheddarhead's like he's been subbed here forever. So if he says something too crazy, I get it, but like he's cool. Turn around and flip it, make 4 times your money. No, I don't care about that. I mean, if Junior's a little jerk, then maybe, but I don't ever have money. So when I have the ability to get something nice like this, I'm going to try to keep it. But yeah, one probably could. I agree. Way too many electronics for my liking on newer vehicles. I agree. That's why I've got a 2006 Toyota RAV4 with an LS V8 in it. So yeah, I'm all about simple stuff. That'll just have a really simple ignition, electronics to run the ECM and stuff, just, your basics, but nothing fancy. Buck Brown, in my line of work, trucking called scrap metal. I see that all the time with the detectors too. Okay, interesting. He asked if driving a Tesla made him queer, LOL. No, I don't think so, but you might get called it. Cheddar, he'll be back in 5 minutes. I read it wrong. No worries. I can reach out to Westy and Fight Night Frankie and all the other guys. But Cheddarhead's like the big dog. I actually wish that wouldn't have timed him, but it's okay. I didn't get to see it, and it's all good. He'll understand because he's been around. I think he was subbed to me with like 20 pre-20 subs, but he'll get over it. I am into MMA talk, I guess, or YouTube. The Guru, Fight Night Frankie, just a lot of. I don't watch the fights. I'd never pay for a pay-per-view, but I like to listen to them when they're called by an entertaining person that knows what they're talking about. That's about my extent. I'm not a gambler, bettor. I'm not good with that stuff, and I'm not very good with remembering stats or knowing who's who either. But I've got a fairly good idea. I know Taylor. She knows what's up a little bit too, maybe even more than me possibly, but yeah. So a lot of my channel, or at least early channel subscribers, were all from like MMA because, and a handful of, it is kind of a cross. Like, if you're into cars, like sporty cars and cool cars, there's a pretty good chance you're going to appreciate cool motorcycles. And like, I don't know, I guess, there is a sector of MMA people that are into cars and motorcycles. And not that I ever was going after that at all. I just was like, hey, I'm going to start this channel because I saw some people make some pretty kick-ass success doing and staying in that niche. So no worries, Brown Chicken. You're just looking out for the best interest. Westy. Yep. So Brown Chicken, if you could get it to Cheddarhead, because Cheddarhead's an OG, and Westy's the GOAT. So there is nobody on the planet that's like more respected in the moderation world, at least in the MMA chat, than Western Mass Climber. Anyway, Westy, let Cheddarhead know that Brown Chicken read his comment wrong, and that's why he was timed out, because he is a very well-respected, loved member of the community, and it was just a mistake, and Cheddarhead will understand. So, and I don't know if you can untime people out or not, but if you can, do it. If you can't, whatever, it is what it is. I'll see him in a chat and say, hey, what's up? Hey, Cheddarhead, there we go, bud. Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, dude. That's how he rolls. That's what's up. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Always good to see you in the chat, man. We had a little discrepancy with I deserve to be timed out. I sold my soul and got a Tesla. Hey, I wouldn't say that. I got to drive one a couple months ago, and it was sorry, bud. Brown Chicken says to Cheddarhead. So hey, no worries, man. I knew he would understand. Cheddarhead is, like I said, an OG forever, like since the inception of my channel, and I remember him for a year or two or even more maybe in other MMA channels and stuff. But that's awesome and funny. So thank you very much for that super chat, Cheddarhead. I appreciate that. But anyway, I drove a Tesla dual motor. It was red. And like I said to the dude, I'm like, can I just do whatever I want? Like, do you care if I beat on it or like floor it? Because that's why we're driving it, right? And he's like, yeah, dude, do whatever, man. And I'm like, so I just came to a complete stop, and oh my God, it just literally liquefies your. It's very roller coaster. I've owned some really fast motorcycles. The ZX14, which is probably the one of like the top 3 fastest bikes you could maybe buy production, and it would give you that feeling a little bit here and there, but nothing like the acceleration. It's like driving an iPad, he says. That's hilarious. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, an iPad though that like warps time. They are little time warping machines. That's awesome. That would be like someone timing me out over at duct tape. Yeah, it would kind of, Brown. So, but we get it, man. Yeah, does it drive itself? Can you watch MMA fights or do live betting while you're driving? That's the important part. Riding with Rhodey says hi to Cheddarhead. Sick bastard says hi to everybody. Cheddarhead says, Westy, it can. I don't like it though. I disabled it. That's cool. That is cool. Who wants to have a car in any control of them? So I certainly wouldn't want to. We're going to go ahead and just get this off of here so I can provide you guys with some kind of entertaining value. We'll let the chat talk for a little bit. We'll get this mass airflow sensor wire off of there. We'll take off we'll just take off this engine cover because it's going to need to be, I want to look under it. I want to make sure no mice and rodents have had their way with things. If I can, I'm in the process of reorganizing my shop for the, I don't know how many times since I wanted, it's just always a work in progress, but whenever we do that, we move things that should be in spots that aren't. Oh, come on, Carrie, this is not impressing anybody here. So my neighbor Rob, though, I'll talk about that for a minute. My goofy neighbor Rob, he went to work today on a sidecar, an old BMW motorcycle sidecar. Oh, they're already like loose. These are usually like so tight you can never even get them off. And I recorded him leaving, like going down the driveway, but when I looked at my phone, I never hit record. I never did it this morning. So I said, I need that bike in my shop tonight. And he's like, okay. So tonight I'm going to do a live stream of this like really crazy futuristic looking BMW sidecar. It's pretty cool. The whole sidecar encapsulates the passenger. So you're like in your own little space shell with absolutely no control over anything that happens to you, which is a little disheartening, I guess, for that person. But I've never been in that position because I'm always the one driving it. And it's been a long time since I drove it. I got to give my son a ride a few years ago. We took it to town. It was pretty fun. We'll just... Oh, I don't know what I want to do here. The air filter is not super clean, but not super dirty either. They are K&Ns. Let's see here. Westy says, I would disable that shit too. Taylor says, hi to Sick. Hopefully you're eating something good right now, Sick. Teslas are better than Cybertrucks, but they still aren't my jam, Moto says. Moto Alley, sorry. Motobomb Virginia is also called Moto, so we'll just stick to Moto Alley. And Westy says, but then I wouldn't ever be caught dead in a Tesla. Are the coil packs accessible? Brown Chicken says, yes. When you remove the 4 Allens on the throttle bodies, they kind of get out of the way. But really, if I'm doing it, I'm just going to just zip these intake bolts off down the middle. And then it all just comes off really easy. I could probably do spark plugs in less than an hour and a half. All said and done. Probably an hour. maybe even a half hour, I guess. I don't know. They're easy. Westy says, does Rob have a YouTube channel called Carrie's Neighbor? No, he doesn't. He is so computer illiterate and stuff, but that would be a good one. A Brown Chicken says, that's like the 50th time I've heard that at West. Yes, get ready. It'll just be ongoing forever, which is awesome. I hope so. I have heard that before about 3 or 4 times. Even though Westy says, I've never asked that. Westard says to Taylor, I got to go to Publix. I don't know what that is. Brown Chicken for reals. Brown Chicken says, I know, I meant I hear that all the time. It's funny. Well, I swear I've heard it more than once too, and usually by Westy, but maybe not. Maybe we're the ones imagining it, Brown, and we're the ones that are crazy. So, and I am, so we're cool. I got to take off intake to get my ignition coils on my Caddy. It's a pain. Yes, that is a pain. But what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Thanks again, Cheddarhead, for the super chat. Appreciate that. We're going to move this to here. We've got one more 10 millimeter right here, holding the little, actually, I think there's, nope, it is just that one. Ooh. If we can get it up on the hoist and get it dried out good, get the carpet out, get it really dried out good, and then maybe rust proof it some or see what, you know, I don't know how bad it really is, but we'll find out. Rubber gets a little, there we go, that comes out of there. And then we can see down in here is where our alternator is going to be buried way down there. Sorry about the lights. I'm working on it. There we go. Well, the light should be behind the camera, but in this situation, I can't do that. So, like, you can see it, but that's about it. Rob, oh, it's got a, I was going to say it has a newer looking power steering pump, but I don't think so. Okay. Yes. You see that? Oh, sorry guys and gals. I rotated the phone. Put down. Thanks for that, Brown Chicken. Where is it? Right? Come on, don't change orientation again. It's right there. You just can't see it. There's a connector. And it looks really charred. So, really charred. Sorry about the vibrations and moving all over. Jesus, this is probably going to be the most unprofessional. Well, it is what it is. See you sick. Get some cheese bread, creamer, coffee, snacks. The main CD Burlock, CDB, rust from radiator, right? I don't, this is a power steering line, and that's really good actually from up here. That's beautiful. We're up here in Wisconsin, so yep, that's good to go. That won't move or break. And the radiator on this is aluminum. Oh, sorry about that. Gosh, why would the orientation get blocked from barely moving it? But the radiator is aluminum with plastic tanks. And the engine is all aluminum block heads, everything with Nikasil bores or plated cylinders. I don't even think they're sleeved on this engine. So there's nothing other than the manifolds to rust, really. You get your corrosion. You can see this white. That's just good old Wisconsin weather. Everything that happens to it gets hot and cold, and it's just some powder dust. The real squids will sit there and polish them, make them so much faster. So much faster. See you, sick. Hope you get some food, man. I'm going to run this live while I'm gone. Hell yeah, dude. You're the man. Quick Trip is a top tier gas station. It is. I've got one just down the road from here. Taylor says, anyone ever heard of a sack and save? Brown Chicken says, anyone know what Quick Trip is? Publix is a grocery store. Okay, cool. Brown Chicken says, I'm reading the chat backwards up. Wisconsin, we don't have a Publix. Maybe Milwaukee. Okay, maybe. Yep. Brown Chickens. Okay, so we're at the intake gaskets. There we go. We're caught up. Cool. Well, now that we're caught up, I think, I mean, I made my money, so I'm going to go, right? No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, it literally sounds like there's an animal on the other side of my shop. I'm going to go check quick. What the heck? The door sounds kind of creepy, but it literally sounded like there was a bird smacking against the wall or something, but no birdies, no animals, and one alternator, it looks like. I'm going to just reach down and see if, oh, no, that's just like a harness deal moving around, but the wires, I mean, it was smoking. So the alternator is toast, and you know, there might be other things, but I looked at the IPDMBR and the main fuse block here. There's also a main fuse block here, and everything looks good. Nothing too corroded, so I'm just guessing the alternator had an internal failure, and that might be it. So how cool would that be? That would be freaking awesome. Because again, when they're on the hoist, it's not... How do you get rusty looking residue on the outside of a power steering line? External cause. Has to be. No, that's just, that's rust. This is Wisconsin, so anything that isn't like sprayed is just immediately rusts. If I could take you outside, I'd show you all my cars, how rotted they are. And they're newer, or the van is 10 years. I mean, I guess they're all 10 years old, but yeah, when it goes from like negative or, you know, freezing, it can go from, you know, 20 degrees to 65, or even in the winter. I mean, we can have such sub-zero at night and then get up to above freezing during the day. That's like a 60-degree swing. And metallurgy doesn't do well with that. The rotors, everything, you know, we're always, if you get brakes and you drive your car year around, it's 2 years tops, unless you service them and go through your caliper pins and go through, take your pads out and lubricate everything every 3 to 6 months. Forget about it. You're replacing them every 2 years. It's just how it is. So yeah, we'll get it cleaned out. I'm going to leave a lot of that for Junior. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. If he can do the, you know, the cleaning out, he can get the seats. I'll help him get the seats out so we don't scratch the sill plates and pillars and stuff. And then we can get it over on the hoist. But I've got a Dodge Ram coming in here soon for a motor, so we will be doing that. Yes, car washes help, and I'm parking it in a garage that's heated or semi-heated. It helps a lot. But yeah, you should, I mean, they sell brake line kits for everything in this area. You can just say, hey, I need a brake line kit, and then just everything, all the brake lines in a kit. Like, it's just, nothing survives. And then if it's a new car that's got aluminum and that corrodes, especially these are notorious. The subframes on the back, depending on, they did a lot of playing around with aluminum and metal, and then aluminum or metal, steel. So, and then we all know how that likes to fit together. It doesn't. But we need to keep cruising and get some stuff done. $31 for an unlimited wash and vacuum. Salted roads. Oh my God. This is an Infiniti. So this is Nissan's redheaded stepchild of their luxury, you know, and they're a good car. They were, I don't know. I can't vouch for them since 2014. So I can only vouch for what I know in the 14 or 12, whatever decade that I worked on them. And then I've worked on them continuously here at my shop. But I think they're a good car. They're a good product. This one's all-wheel drive, so good in the winter. Yeah, the main CD Burlock, CDB. Yeah, they spray the roads here. I've got video footage of like tanker trucks with your garden sprayer on the back, and they just drive down the road, just pouring the solution down the road it goes. And then they'll come through and put like a salt sand solution, like, you know, for traction at intersections and stuff. But they'll coat all the bridges with the solution, which is funny because bridges are made out of metal and cement, and neither the metal or cement can withstand the corrosion properties that this solution brings forth. It's just unbelievable. And then too, like, you put salt down on the road, I get it, like salt chunks and stuff and salt, but like this solution that they're using now, it gets into every nook and cranny. Like when you're behind somebody and you see that mist and that spray, that's coating everything. And not only that, it's getting in between your radiator fins and into little crevices that, and then it starts corroding, and it's really bad. So it sucks. It sucks. Lots of salt here. But this one, all in all, I mean, I can't show you underneath of it until I put it on the hoist, but from what we could see laying underneath of it, you know, the junkyard is a sandy bottom, I guess, or whatever. So we looked good. And I just had one of these on the hoist the other day, and it was not that impressive as far as, I mean, it was pretty rusted compared to this one. So I'm pretty happy with how this one looks on the inside. I'm happy that the engine turns over. The oil is blacker than diesel, but that can be changed. And when we put power to it, the first reminder that came up on the screen was to change the oil. So I thought that was pretty funny. Westy, I try really hard not to drive unless the roads are dry in the winter. Yeah, I mean, me too. If I don't have to go anywhere, why? I have to take Junior to school. Old Mac, good to see you, man. I'm going to wrap this up here shortly, but I was just staying on until I saw Old Mac join the live stream because, you know, we love Old Mac. It's always good to see you. We're talking about winter driving and salt, obviously, and you have a comment here I need to read. I I drive a roll of Canarley, rolls down one hill and can hardly make it up the other. That's awesome. A buddy of mine told me that years ago, and he's like, hey, you know what another name for a Harley is? And I'm like, what? He's like, a Rolls Canarley. And I'm like, a what? He's like, a Rolls Canarley. He's like, it rolls down one hill and can hardly make it up the other. And I'm like, oh my God, that's good stuff there. Oh yes, the main CD Burlock says the new variable compression engine is crap in the Infiniti, maybe some Nissan, and it's also turbocharged, the VC engine. Yes, that is just an absurd abomination of mechanical engineering just put to waste. Complete waste and absurdity. Yeah, like it was such a big thing when we were able to like really digital ignition. Oh my gosh, we can really advance and retard this ignition quickly and efficiently and not having to use vacuum and weights. And we made a step forward, and then we figured out how we can play with the camshafts and mess with that timing a little bit to maybe meet emissions or to you know, make more power. And I get it. You know, I saw its inception. We did it at Infiniti or Nissan from, I think they started with it. Well, they were playing with it in the early 90s, even on their timing belt driven V6s. But as a more modern, you know, this one has intake and exhaust. It'll mess with the timing, but then it also raises and lowers the cam. I believe just the intake cam, so it can change the lift, thus you know, the duration. So it's just all silliness. Hello to all the brothers on here. Good to see you, Mac. I hope you're doing good today. I hope your ear's doing better and coming around. I think about you every day. I hope your little buddy's doing good. Little football buddy. I know how when our Daisy got up in her older years, so I don't ever want to know if I don't think I'll ever go through that again. So it's gonna be a while before I get another puppy dog. But always thinking of you. Oh, I got, actually I could just show this to you real quick here. I don't think I'm gonna lose you because the router is actually on the other side here. We'll go. I was working in my office the other day and put up a board, or like you know, I'm doing a little decorating, so to speak. And I had that Mac money. Like, oh, I'll let you guys tell me what. I got more to add to it yet, but we're gonna put some various pistons and I don't know, something, but I just thought that looked really cool right there. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Good times. BMW has a much simpler design variable compression engine, a V6 and a prototype 3 Series. Very cool. Yeah, I think the variable compression is more fun to play with. I don't know. It's all gotten silly. Just put, I don't know. What have we gotten? We haven't really gotten much better fuel mileage. Maybe the emissions out the pipe is a little better, but it's always a compromise. Everything's a compromise. And now they're compromising so much quality and masking it with, oh, it's for efficiency. Really? Building plastic pipes for everything is efficient when you could have manufactured it out of aluminum and it would have lasted so much longer and not broken and taken out the engine in the process? My days. Love to all. Have a great week. Wow, old Mac is on the board. Oh, you're on. Yes, sir. You are. I've got another board as well. I think I need to add Cheddarhead to that. I'm keeping a running list of my super chats, and Cheddarhead donated today. So much respect to him and appreciate that. He's a fellow Wisconsinite. All right, guys. I think, well, Moto Bum Virginia just stopped in, says hi to old Mac. Good to see you, Moto. I don't know if you have been, if you're just stopping in, but we've been live for a little bit, just checking out this Infiniti. We put a, well, I better check to make sure I took it off. I don't want to go, oh, and I didn't. We put a ratchet on the crank, and I would like to hear or feel some compression, but it's not turning over super. I mean, it's almost too easy, but the alternator like pretty much started on fire the other day when we put power to it. So I want to either disconnect the alternator, figure out what I got to do to still enable the start, or I could just put 12 volts to the starter, I guess, and make it turn over, just to ensure, because it turns over, and it could be turning. I don't know. It feels to me like it's turning over a little too easy, but who knows? I don't know how hard it's been beat, so we don't know. It's got the blue tipped. I'll let you guys go here in just a sec. I can't really go vertically, or it's got the Go Fast blue tipped racing exhaust, which is always something you want to see on a vehicle, you know. You want to know that it's had aftermarket exhaust and dirty air filters and oil that looks like it came out of a Caterpillar. So I don't know much about that one, the main CDB, the V8 dual turbo. That is cool. I know BMW that had a lot of issues. Or no, that was Porsche with their V8 turbo and like all their Cayennes. But I don't keep up on the new stuff. I just don't, because it's not in my wheelhouse, and anything past 2015 just doesn't register to me. The brain doesn't, it just doesn't. So, well, Max says, Moto, I wish you and the coffee crew could join me on a ride Wednesday. Going to be the highest point in Alabama. Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. I'm glad we got the bike out on Saturday. We put about 60 miles on it, rode some back roads to family Christmas because my mom snowbirds in Florida, so that was cool. Brown Chicken says he's at the highest point right now. JK, that's hilarious. I love it. I wonder how high Blue Mounds is, or what is the highest point in Wisconsin, Brown Chicken, because we can see Blue Mounds from here, and I think it's about 50 miles to get there. Total piece of garbage, had 3 recalls. All the parts are outrageous money. Guy in Las Vegas spent over $7K to rebuild one. Wow. Yeah, that's just nuts. That's nuts. Like before we bought this, before I had the guy deliver it from the junkyard, me and Junior priced out motors, and I mean, they're all over for $1,500 and less. And if you get one and you just take care of it, they'll last forever, like literally. And you just got to take care of it. The car will rot out. Something else is going to happen before it goes bad. That's how I look at it. So Tim's Hill, okay. Well, Mac, video will be coming. Awesome. I would love to see that. Please share that with us. And we are coming up on 60 minutes when I just was going to do this for 30. So I'm going to have to let y'all go here because I got to move all this stuff here so I can get a truck in and do an engine on it. And that I'm going to live stream. I might do like an all-day marathon where I can try to get it done in a day, which will just be a complete miracle because or a failure. Now that I said that, I've jinxed myself. But if I have the tools laid out and everything going, it's just the chat and trying to interact with the chat while I do something is what's a bit. Find, fix, flip. BMW with N63 will do. I will look that up. Find, fix, flip, take us live and just talk and drive, old Mac. Yeah, that would be cool too. Get yourself a big old Starlink to mount in that trunk back there. That would be cool. But even with Starlink in Alabama, I know my friend Vince Walty, when he storm chases and is streaming live with a lot of trees, and I guess there's storms happening at the time, but you know, I don't know how wooded and hilly it is. You are going high, so, but that would be cool. Always cool to see a live with Mac or one of Dean's moto vlogs. Ride home, see that crazy traffic. So, well, tomorrow I'll try to join the crew at some point. I'll join before the show. I usually like to just jump in and say hi and then, you know, do whatever from there. But we've got a really, really busy week, and I don't want to let this get put on the back burner too long. I don't want to let it sit outside either, and I got to get the seats out and get the carpet out so it can air out. And then we've got all these motorcycles to fix and do videos on. And Rob's going to be bringing a BMW sidecar to the shop tonight that he said he'll just leave here for the night so we could do a live stream on it, about it. We can do some video work with it. And it's a cool sidecar, really cool spaceship looking thing. It's really cool. Yeah, you guys will enjoy it. So thanks everybody for stopping in, saying hi. I really appreciate it. Always a treat to hang out with y'all. Good to see you in the main CD, Burlock. Tennessee has no smog checks. Do a 351 Cleveland swap. Yeah, I could. I did, well, I'm in the process of, I've got this Toyota RAV4 and I've got an LS V8 in that. Just the 4.8 because I was going to do some turbo fun. But this is a project in works that I really need to get done too. I'm just a single dad trying to make my way, and boy, oh boy, things take a lot longer than I wish they would. So, but having you all along for the ride and sharing this experience with you is awesome. I'm going to go. But again, I appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat, Cheddarhead, everybody stopping in, Brown Chicken for timing him out. That was awesome. And Cheddarhead for understanding. Much love to y'all. Have a great day.